Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leisha Jackson from FM Systems, and I want to thank you for attending today's webinar, Access, Maintain, and Report on Your Facility Data in the Field with FM Mobile. Before we begin, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your console, there are multiple widgets you can use. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can click on the Q&A widget at the bottom and submit your question. We'll answer these at the end, but if we don't get to all of the questions, we will follow up with you after the webinar. You can expand your slide area by clicking on the Maximize icon on the top right-hand corner or by dragging the bottom right-hand corner of the slide area. An on-demand version will be available about 1 hour after the webinar ends and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you earlier. Today on the line, we have Brian Haynes, our Vice President of Marketing, and Audrey Hum, our Applications Engineer. With that being said, Brian, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Leisha, and welcome everyone to our presentation today, where we're going to be giving an overview of our FM Mobile product. I'm going to begin today by running through some slides, kind of giving you that high-level overview and an introduction to the product, as well as talk about some of the trends and benefits of going mobile. I think it's important to understand some of the market forces and some of the capabilities that are occurring that are really driving a push towards being able to access your facility data when you're away from your desk, and that's all kinds of facility data relating to the operational management of your entire portfolio, so floor plans, asset information, et cetera. We'll then do an introduction more specifically to FM Mobile, which will Audrey, who has joined me today, is going to be doing a live demonstration. And then we'll have a short period at the end. We're going to wrap this up in less than 30 minutes now, so let's just go ahead and get going. So the first thing we want to do is talk about some of the trends and benefits of going mobile. We really saw a huge push towards a lot of companies adopting mobile strategies starting in around 2012. Really the first mobile device that sort of revolutionized the way that people could access information in the field was probably the iPhone, which was introduced in about 2007. It took a while before the market really began to adopt it, and what we're seeing now, I follow Pew Research and Aberdeen Research on mobile trends on a yearly basis, and we update this. But what we're seeing right now is that Americans who own smartphones, about 67%. Usually when you get into a market, and you hit about 70%, that's usually pushing towards saturation. The last 15 to 20, maybe 30% are people who are probably never going to adopt mobile. It could include people who are not adults, maybe under the age of 18 who don't have a phone, or maybe someone who's older who doesn't have a phone. But in general, as I go to conferences and I talk to people, just about everybody that we speak to has some sort of mobile device available to them. Supplementing that, Americans who own some sort of phone, that would take smartphones and add, maybe texting phones or more traditional mobile phones. We're really looking at just about everybody having one. And globally, it's actually about 62% right now. And that includes fully developed nations all the way down to non-fully developed nations. In many locations, you actually see mobile adoption at higher rates than we are seeing in North America. So some of the drivers of the new place trends, when we look at the organizations, the companies, the institutions that are really adopting mobile strategies, this is some of the reasons and some of the things that they're doing. So 62% of those organizations believe that having a strong mobile strategy allows you to improve data integration between the field and back office systems. So that ability to be able to access all of that information in your enterprise systems, such as FM Interact, and being able to access that information out there in the field. We also see 69% of best-in-class organizations providing mobile tools out there in the field so that their field staff can access that related information for doing things such as work order management or tracking assets, which leads us to 45% of them are actually focusing on the real-time tracking of people, parts, vehicles, and equipment. And then last but not least, 41% of them are using this to establish systems to track metrics and performance in real time. We're seeing a massive push towards this, the ability to be able to more tightly report on things like service level agreements or work order management, the ability to be able to run reports in the field or sit down with department heads and bring along your maybe a mobile tablet and sit down and run the report so that we can actually look at real-time metrics coming out of your out of FM Interact. The next thing is, I think there's really some additional reasons that are major benefits for being able to, for adopting a mobile solution like FM Mobile. The biggest one is reduced cycle time, and reduced cycle time simply means you get things done more quickly without having to run back to your desk to access information. If you're out there in the field and somebody asks you a question about occupancy or utilization, or somebody asks you who's assigned to a specific space, maybe somebody's asking you the status of a work order, maybe asking you for access to a departmental chargeback report or field conditions. In the old days, you would have to run back to your desk and probably run a report or pull up a spreadsheet. Because we've got access to that information real time right there in front of us, there's better accuracy of the data that you're providing, so when you're answering questions, you've got backup. We also believe that enhanced collaboration and service, let's say a mobile technician or maybe somebody involved in move management within your organization, or maybe project team members out there in the field, when they're providing that information real time, when they're standing right there in front of the piece of equipment, or they're standing in the space, or maybe they're standing at that project where a new conference room is being built out. We really believe that the ability to be able to have everyone on your facilities team who needs to access that information live, that really enhances collaboration. So we actually have a product, FM Mobile. It's part of the FM Interact product suite. It's a module that's an add-on to the base product, which allows you to be able to do a number of different things. And what I want you to do is sort of imagine these kinds of workflows. What if you could submit requests quickly and easily from a mobile device and receive updates as the work is completed right there from a mobile device? Technicians in the field, and we see a massive adoption of this in our product, receiving dispatches and being able to log time and cost to complete, accessing preventive maintenance task lists while working remotely without having to go back to their desk. The ability to be able to run real-time reports on the status of space, assets, moves, projects, and more while away from your desk. Imagine being able to walk up to an asset like a fire extinguisher, scan it, maybe it's a barcode or a QR code, or type in its ID and immediately bring up its service history and all related information. For technicians out there in the field, or people who need to access process manuals, perhaps being able to get a list of PM assigned tasks or call up an equipment manual on your tablet, check parts inventory, all out there in the field. And then the last one I have is these are just examples of what you can do. There's hundreds of more things that you can do. Audit and update building information in the field from your smartphone. Now, this really allows the entire facility team to access, update, and report on your facility data in the field. Some of the things about FM Mobile, this is not just FM Interact on a tablet. This is purpose-built for mobile devices. In other words, you can use those finger gestures that you're used to on your phone or your tablet. You can pinch the zoom when you're in a floor plan. So it's been specifically built for mobile workers that allows you to not only take advantage of all those things like finger swipes, but also the built-in hardware in your tablet, such as cameras. Being able to snap a photo very quickly of an issue in the field and have that attached to a work order. Maybe take a photo of a space that you're in and have that attached to the space record. That's powerful stuff, and being able to do that right there and in the location of where that is. Being able to access those data and drawings and reports at the point of a problem, instead of having to go back to your desk when you're standing in front of something that's broken. You're taking a picture of it. Increased productivity occurs whenever we're able to do that. And also, this is really great because if you're familiar with our FMX5 viewing technology, which is some of the best drawing viewing technology in the FM space, that technology is actually available directly in our FM Mobile product as well. So you can access the drawings and data in the field directly, also being able to run those reports. We do have interactive floor plans, so it's not just a picture. You can poke a space and pull up information about that space. You can do field verification, access and update information on a particular asset that you're standing in front of, maybe downgrade its condition, maybe add a serial number that was missing. You're also able to perform mobile maintenance, so create, accept, and interact with service requests and work orders, as well as run those real-time reports. It also adheres to the highly configurable nature of FM Interact as well as roles. So what I'm showing here are two completely different views of the information coming out of the system, perhaps based on who I am. In the top, I'm sitting there barcode scanning, maybe a barcode that's inside of a door, and instantly bringing up everything that's inside of that space or everything that's supposed to be inside of that space. Maybe I want to run through a quick inventory, make sure everything's there. Maybe I want to do a quick assessment of the quality and condition of the space, or look who's supposed to be occupying that space. Down below, we've got a much more basic view of information. Perhaps this is a maintenance technician who simply needs to bring up a series of tasks that have been assigned to them, or perhaps scan that fire extinguisher and bring up information. Maybe that technician discovered that this seal has been broken on this fire extinguisher and wants to log that he has corrected that problem. So the configurability and roles that are available in FM Interact are completely available in FM Mobile itself, which allows you to be able to provide really power user views all the way down to, letting a basic employee, somebody who's not part of your facility team, if you want, allow them access to be able to create something like maybe a service request or a move request out there in the field. So here's a couple of examples of the way this might work. So on the left, we've got an employee who enters a service request on their smartphone. Perhaps they're walking through one of your restrooms and it's a mess, or maybe they've gone into the cafeteria and one of the machines is broken and they want to log a service request. Once they poke that in on that mobile device, it automatically goes into FM Interact. In this example, we've got a maintenance manager or perhaps a dispatcher monitoring those incoming service requests and determining what to do with them. In this example, we're going to dispatch that to a technician through FM Interact maintenance module. And then out there in the field, a technician who's walking the space or maybe is available in one of your facilities receives that dispatch on an iPad and updates the status, time, and cost of actually performing that corrective activity. So without further ado, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tee it up for Audrey Hum, who's our applications engineer. And Audrey is actually going to run through a live demonstration of the product now so that you can actually see FM Mobile in action. Audrey, take it away.
Thanks so much, Brian. So Brian pointed out a lot of neat things that you can do on mobile. So really just enhancing that capability and that functionality we have in FM Interact. What I'm going to go through now is just a few examples, just pointing out some of those highlights and then also pointing out some additional functionalities. What I've done here is I've searched for an employee. So maybe I am an associate here, maybe I'm a manager, and I want to find out where my friend Rosalind is sitting or where my employee is sitting. All I have to do is type her name into that general search, and I can pull up all kinds of information about her. Now, of course, this is relative to those permission settings, but let's say I type in I want to find where she's sitting. Well, I'm getting information about her general, her phone number, her email address. Also, if I'm her manager, maybe I can see her equipment items. She has an iPhone assigned to her, any reservations associated to her. If I click on her name, it's going to point me right to her space on the floor plan. So I know what building she's in, I know what floor she's in, and I can use the map then to guide me to her space. From there, maybe I notice, maybe I'm her manager, that she has moved herself. No one ever does that, but maybe I can then move her to her new seat. Since I'm an administrator, I can use the drag and drop move functionality to actually assign her to her new space on the floor plan. And as soon as I save that, it's going to designate the new space as vacant and hers as reserved. Now, through the auditing capabilities, that will be tracked, and we can build the workflows in there to kind of keep track of everything. But that's great that you have the ability to make that note right there on the floor plan. And I can even edit this space. Maybe I want to make a note of that. I can actually pull up all of the details. Maybe I want to add a note of why I moved her. Maybe I need to change some of these details now that she has been moved into a new space. I can do that right here on the floor plan. Again, maybe multiple other people have moved themselves in this process. It's as easy as kind of clicking on that button and moving them into their new spaces, clicking Save. A lot of other things we can do here. Maybe I want to come out and I want to view the evacuation plan for this particular floor. I get all of those graphic views on mobile as well. Maybe I want to export this. I can put this into a PDF. I can print this directly from this view. Maybe I'm hooked up to a Bluetooth printer. All that functionality right here as I'm walking that floor plan. Another thing I could do here, maybe I want to look at all of the departments. Again, maybe I notice here as I zoom to those rooms that they're not allocated to anyone, but they have been assigned recently to another department. Quick and easy, as I click these three spaces, I can edit them and assign them to a new department. Again, this is tying into our database as anything directly in FM Interact would. I'll go ahead and I'll click Enter. I'll select that CEO and President department. We're noticing I have all the options here. I could change the space type. I could give them a capacity. I could make these hoteling spaces. As soon as I submit that, it's going to let me know that record has been updated, and now the cross-hatching has changed. It's also updated my legend. It's updated any reports that are associated to this floor plan, and everything's dynamically updated, not only here on mobile, but also in my desktop version as well. If I click on any of these spaces, I'm getting all kinds of details as well. I'm being told what the department is. I'm being told the space type, whether there is an employee here, any of the office equipment. I can even click into that office equipment and get details about it. Maybe someone came over and told me that the printer wasn't working. I can come over quickly and easily get more details about it, even look at documents, images. Here there's a projector. Maybe I'm having a meeting here next week. I need to know if this is a projector that's compatible with my computer. I can walk down the hall, get all of those details directly here. A lot of the things we touched on earlier in that presentation by Brian were on the front of facility maintenance. Now, of course, I can also come in and maybe I notice that there's a spill on the floor. I can come in and maybe submit a service request for this. It's a health, safety, security issue. In mobile, we also support those conditional fields. It knows who I am based on my login information. Very similar to FM Interact here. I'm getting all kinds of different choices, just a different interface with my touch screen. Janitorial, I have a spill and cleanup. Nice thing, of course, being though that I can upload documents and images. And when I go to choose a file, it's going to give me the option to either take a photo, look into my photo library on my iPhone, or take an image of this spill. So I spilled my coffee here in my office. I'm going to upload that photo, and that's going to send it in. Again, that's going to be very easy if you're here walking through the halls. You're probably more likely to submit that ticket if you have your phone on you, or if you're walking into the bathroom and you have your iPad for some reason, you're probably going to be more likely to submit that. As soon as I submit that, again, that can go to a dispatcher or to a service supervisor, and it can go through the suggested workflow that you have. Very easy for our technicians, our maintenance supervisors to enter information. They also can come into the mobile environment and they can see all of their tickets here. They have the ability to filter. They have the ability to sort. Maybe here I want to look just for electrical requests. As a supervisor or technician, I have just those then filtered down for me. I can either click into it and view the information, or I can come in clicking on the cogwheel on the right-hand side of the screen and actually edit the information. That's giving them the ability to say, well, now this is no longer an urgent request. Or maybe I want to log my hours, being able to track overtime information, being able to track additional materials as a supervisor, being able to dispatch this to a technician. Again, all of that functionality being right here on that mobile device, real time. Of course, we're able to give access to general users, to technicians, to supervisors, as those different roles allow. Another thing I like is the ability to kind of have almost dashboards, as we're able to save these things to our home screen. Here I have just FM mobile, a new service request, and maybe my building models. If I'm oftentimes submitting service requests, I can come in, click a new service request, and that'll just pop up automatically for me. There's nothing special with FM Interact, but it does kind of enhance some of those functionalities of mobile and tie them in with the FM Interact functionalities. One more thing I wanted to touch on is that asset management portion, whether it's office equipment, personal equipment, or building equipment, a lot of nice things here, being able to come in, as Brian mentioned, whether it's scanning a barcode or coming in and clicking on an asset that you know you need to update. We can either edit multiple items at one time, or we can come in and just click on an item that we know needs to be downgraded for asset depreciation, or we know we need to add an image to it. And we have all those details available for us. And we can access all of the tabs that are available in FM Interact, whether it's open work orders, archived work orders, documents, and images, and then upload that information to mobile. I do want to leave some time for questions, so that's the end of the live portion of the demonstration. And I'll turn it over to you now, Brian, to look at the Q&A.
Okay, Audrey, some of these may require you to chime in on these. So the first question we have is there anything special that we need to do to make these floor plans work in FM Mobile that is different from FM Interact?
The answer to that question is no. Everything that in FM Interact will work in FM Mobile, except for some of the major administrative functions.
Okay, great. The next one, can we restrict which graphic views are available to FM Mobile, or are they all the same ones that are available in FM Interact?
You are able to. You're also able to restrict which views are available. So for example, what we're looking at, I think on the screen still, like the new service request or the status closed supervisor view, you're able to restrict which views are available mobile as well.
Okay, great. The next question is FM Mobile a native application to a tablet, or is it accessed through a web browser on my mobile device? And I already jotted down the answer to that one.
Yep.
So answer that.
It's a...
go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yep. I was just going to say it is not an app.
We must both really want this question.
I know, gosh, I'm so excited about this answer. Go ahead and answer it.
We know it so well. Yeah, it's accessed through a web browser, so it's not an application. I mean, you can access it both on tablets or phones.
Right, so there's no need to install an app or anything like that. It's accessed through your web browser on a mobile device. However, it is built specifically for mobile devices, so it's not just FM Interact on an iPad. It's actually a mobile responsive environment. All right, let's see. When viewing floor plans, can you click into the asset number for a room and see description and the picture of the building equipment, such as a make, bridge, and an office, rather than having to go out and go to the equipment inventory screen?
Yes, so you're able to click into it and view all the details about it directly from the floor plan, similar to how you're able to do in FM Interact if you are familiar with it.
Okay, that's great. So a question is, do you support RFID scanning in FM Mobile?
So that's something that would require an additional configuration, and that's something I think that would require a little bit more in one maybe offline conversation. Yeah,
I think that that's certainly something that we can do. We just would have a few additional questions, and we'll follow up with you after that. Can you restrict the users that are able to move the people on the floor plan?
To move the people on the floor plan?
Yeah, so let's say...
That's a permissionable item.
Yeah, I thought that's exactly what I was going to say. Terrific. Yep, that's great. Let's see.
We definitely don't want everyone coming in there and moving people around, that's for sure.
Unless, of course, you're... Give them permission to do that, and obviously fine. Like maybe you're a move manager or something like that. There's a question, what is required to gain access for FM Mobile? Actually, FM Mobile is currently an additional module that needs to be purchased separately from the other FM Interact modules. So you don't get FM Mobile automatically when you purchase the product unless you add that additional ability. I think there's a few other questions here that I'm going to take offline. They are related to pricing and things like that. Obviously, I want to ask questions and get back to you. If we didn't answer your questions, feel free to reach out directly to us. I'm going to go ahead and put my information up on the screen. You can email me directly at bhaines@fmsystems.com. If I don't know the answer to your question, I'm going to make sure that someone who's got the answer, a good answer for you, is going to be able to do that for you. Maybe somebody like Audrey, who's an applications engineer, or maybe somebody in our sales team, or perhaps even somebody in our product management team. Okay. I think that's it. I'm going to stay online for a few more minutes and probably take a shot at answering some of these more specific questions. But I wanted to thank all of you today for joining us on this presentation of FM Mobile, so that we've been able to give you a good overview. I want to thank Audrey for putting on a great demo and showing how easy the product is. Keep in mind it's an additional module of FM Interact. It's incredibly configurable, very powerful tool that allows you to be able to access all of your facility data and drawings away from your desk using a mobile device, such as a tablet or a phone. So, Alicia, back to you.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Audrey. And thank you, everyone, for attending today. Please keep an eye out over the next day or so. We will be sending an email out with the link to the recording and the PowerPoint that we used today. So keep an eye out for that and view it again, and feel free to pass it along to your colleagues. And I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you again.